The OCD and Anxiety Podcast by Robert James Coaching. Hello and welcome to the OCD and Anxiety Podcast, where we explore how to have a more positive relationship with anxiety disorders, taking back control so that you can start living the life you choose and not the one chosen by your fears. Hello there and welcome to episode 175 of the OCD and Anxiety Podcast. I hope that you're doing very well today, and if you do happen to be struggling with OCD or anxiety, then you can get a free session with me. To get that, all you need to do is to head over to my website, www.robertjamescoaching.com, and there you can send me a message and we can arrange the free session. In today's podcast, we are going to be talking about some really simple but very powerful diffusion techniques that can really help you to get unstuck when you find yourself getting lost in OCD thoughts. It's so important that we learn some helpful techniques to do this, because so often we're doing the worst possible thing. We're actually just trying to think more to get ourselves unstuck, and that's actually the worst thing that you can do. So we'll be exploring that today. If you find this podcast helpful, it would be amazing if you could head over to Instagram and follow and like there. And if you could also subscribe on your podcast app of choice as well. So there we go, guys. I really hope that you enjoy. As always, if you have any questions, then do please let me know. Many thanks. I'd like to start with a quote by Russ Harris, the author of many books, including The Happiness Trap, The Anxiety Trap, and other books with a focus on acceptance commitment therapy. And the quote is this: "The fact is, we have much less control over our thoughts and feelings than we would like. It's not that we have no control, it's just that we have much less than the experts would have us believe. However, we do have a huge amount of control over our actions, and it's through taking action that we create a rich, full, and meaningful life." And I really like this quote because, as you probably know, if you struggle with OCD, then, unfortunately, we don't have control over the thoughts that pop up into our consciousness. And some days you might be going along perfectly happy. Maybe you're not experiencing much OCD and it's all going swell. And then suddenly from nowhere, a thought pops up, and then another one, and then another one. And we start fighting with them. We start trying to push them away. We start trying to think our way out of the problem. And this is called the anxiety trap. It's one of the main issues with OCD and a lot of mental health problems, is effectively when we do get these thoughts and things that we don't like, we think that we need to get rid of them before we're able to get on, with our lives. And in Western culture, we're very much focused on problem solving. It's actually a very good skill to have in many areas of life. If you have an issue, then of course finding a way to get around that or solve that is going to help you. And all of us have developed those skills over time, and they serve us very well. But unfortunately, when it comes to a lot of mental health issues, it does not serve us at all, because these thoughts that keep popping up into your consciousness, they're not really happening for any other reason than the fact that we keep trying to push them away when they do pop up. And when we stop trying to do that, lo and behold, they stop coming up so much, and it's easier for us to kind of get on with our lives. Now, our objective, however, should not be to just get rid of the thoughts, because, of course, if that's our objective, then, we're going to be constantly focused on pushing away, which is only going to result in us getting more of it. It's like the classic experiment, which was first done in Harvard, where they asked the participants of the experiment to try not to think of particular things, like, do not think of an elephant. And of course, it's going to pop up into your mind. And this is, again, another part of the anxiety trap. The more we don't want to feel something or experience something, unfortunately, the more we're going to have it. And paradoxically, we think that by thinking, by trying to solve the issue, that we're going to be able to get out of this mess that we've got ourselves into, that we're going to be able to finally outthink the OCD, outmaneuver it, find the ultimate solution that's going to allow us to have some peace, and finally be able to stop problem solving and just get on with our day, or be able to enjoy ourselves, or come back into the present moment. I can't count the number of times I've been in social situations where I'm thinking to myself, I just have to work this out before I'm able to be present with the people that I'm with. And it's this that is the very problem. Unfortunately, you can't solve OCD with the thing which has actually created the problem, and that is the intellect. The intellect is the problem here. We're trying to problem solve. We're trying to come to that ultimate solution. And it's never going to get us there because it created the problem in the first place. And so when we realize that, when we truly understand that, then it's so much easier to recognize when we're getting stuck in problem solving, and to actually walk away from it. And so what does problem solving look like when it comes to OCD? Well, of course, it can look like rumination. It's probably the most common compulsion of all, where we're just going around in circles in our thoughts, and we're trying to get 100% certainty about things. But even things like reassurance seeking, again, it's kind of problem solving. So really, it's about learning how to interrupt that pattern, learning to do something different with that energy, because it is energy. You're just giving this problem so much mental energy, and it's creating an even bigger problem than you had to start with. So really, what we need to learn to do is to do something completely different, to kind of give up on using the intellect, because it's only going to get us more stuck, and to try something very different. So what can we do? Well, I'm going to be discussing 3 very simple but powerful techniques that really, really work for me in this regard. And the first one is to get physically active with the body. Now, there's so many different ways of doing this, but it's very, very important, because you just want to get out of your head and you want to come into your body. And so no matter what the physical activity is, it's going to help you in that situation. You want to find something ideally enjoyable for you. But to be honest, it could be absolutely anything at all. So, if you're active already and you enjoy sports, or if you want to pick up exercise as a positive habit, then actually doing some kind of exercise is a really good example of something that you can do. Perhaps you can go for a run or a bike ride. Perhaps you can go for a swim, but maybe you're at home and you're struggling with stuff, and it's not practical in that moment for you to go to the gym or to go out for a run. In which case, just doing a very quick 5-minute exercise routine, like going onto YouTube, finding a 5 or 10-minute workout, and just doing that, or just very simply even doing some simple press-ups and star jumps and sit-ups, things that you can do easily at home for, put a timer on and time it for 5 minutes. When you do that, what you're going to be doing is coming into the body and changing your biochemistry, because when we do exercise, it helps us to kind of process the stress hormones that so often build up when we're experiencing fear and anxiety. Unfortunately, when you get into these states, you go into a sympathetic nervous response, and that releases cortisol and adrenaline into the body. And if that's going on all day long, it's like a slow trickle of stress hormones, and it really does not do us any favors at all. So learning how to kind of process that a bit quicker through exercise is really helpful. But also, exercise helps to stimulate the release of neurotransmitters, which obviously are very important when it comes to OCD. They help us to feel better, more relaxed. So here I'm talking about things like endorphins, potentially serotonin, dopamine. These are all things that can really help change your mindset to feel a lot more positive in the moment. And sometimes, when you're really struggling and you're really getting stuck in your head, that's exactly what you need. You just need a break from it. You need to find a way to bring yourself back into the present moment. And one of the best things you can do is just to come into your body. Now, even if those options I've given you don't seem, like they'd be that great for you, then maybe you can just do something physical like cleaning the house or doing some gardening. Whatever it is that works for you, find an activity that gets you moving your body in some way. And even better, if whilst you're doing that activity, if you can really pay attention to the body, do everything you can to keep coming into the body and experiencing the movement of your body whilst you're doing that activity. Pay attention to the muscles working. This will really help you even more to be more in the present moment whilst you're doing this. My next tip then is to do some kind of breath work or very simple meditation activities that again might change your physiology and help you to relax the body a bit more. Again, these activities are based upon the same idea. To get you away from thinking, to kind of give up on that problem-solving approach. And so with this, if you already know the Wim Hof method, for example, sometimes a good idea is just to do something completely different. If you can do some Wim Hof breathing in that moment, it can be very helpful. Or you can do a body scan meditation. Now, this is something that I do myself a lot. If I'm kind of waking up in the morning and I notice some anxiety, for example, I might just do this body scan meditation for 3 or 4 minutes before I wake up. Or even, when I'm going to sleep, if I'm struggling to fall asleep, I often do this body scan meditation. But even during the day as well, if I find myself if I find my mind being too busy and too occupied with things, and maybe I am getting a lot of intrusive thoughts coming up, then actually learning how to do a meditation that relaxes the body is one of the most important things, because I can almost guarantee you that in that moment, if you are experiencing a lot of anxiety and a lot of intrusive thoughts, learning to relax the body is one of the best things that you can do. And so these very simple body scan meditations that are focused on relaxation are really, really helpful for that. You can check out one of my previous episodes if you want to find out more about that. Or you can just head onto YouTube and type in body scan meditation, and you'll find a whole host of options there to keep you busy with that. And then my final suggestion, if you listen to this podcast on a regular basis, you will know that I'm a big fan of the Wim Hof method, and this is taken from that. And for some of you, it may seem like an unusual suggestion, but actually it's a really good one. And again, something that I personally find really helpful, and that is to occasionally take a cold shower. If you're finding that you're stuck in your mind, taking a cold shower is a fantastic way to get you back into the present moment. Now, it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but maybe it's something that you could just kind of try, something that maybe you could try with your normal shower. So whilst you're having your normal shower, at the end of that normal hot shower, why not try finishing with 30 seconds of cold water? And what that will do over time is it will start to demonstrate to you the benefits of cold showers, of which there are many. When we go into the cold, first of all, there again is a biochemical change in the body. There's a huge amount of norepinephrine, which is released into the body. Norepinephrine, again, a very important neurotransmitter that is related to a sense of feeling calm and more relaxed, more focused. So again, definitely something that's very helpful for OCD. And if you can get that from having something as so simple as just having a cold shower, then that's pretty amazing. Not only that, but actually going into a cold shower is going to help you to work on your acceptance, because let's be honest, nobody wants to be in a cold shower. It's very uncomfortable. Every part of you is going to be wanting to get out of there as soon as possible. But if you're able to just remain, to stay in that cold water for 30 seconds or a minute, and just try to accept those uncomfortable feelings. And in doing so, you're going to be learning a lot about acceptance. Now, there's obviously two ways of having a cold shower. One is where you stand there and you scream, "Ah!" and you do not accept it at all, and you fight against it, and you just kind of grin and bear it. I mean, you can do that, and you'll still get that release of norepinephrine that I was talking about, which does lead to a sense of calm and alertness after the cold shower. But you're not going to be learning much about acceptance. So if you are willing to give this a go, try to be really focused and calm whilst you're doing this. Try to be very much in the present moment. Keep your focus on the uncomfortable feelings and try to work on just allowing them. And in doing so, you're really learning about that acceptance. And, if you're able to do that, for example, once in the morning and then maybe a few times during the day, if you are working from home, for example, it might be very, very helpful for you in terms of learning more about acceptance, which you can then apply, obviously, to your experience of OCD as well. So there we go, guys. 3 simple but very powerful techniques for helping you to diffuse from thoughts. I really do hope that you find it helpful. As always, if you have any questions about anything I've said today, then do please get in touch. And many thanks. Just a quick reminder that if you want to get a free session, all you need to do to get that is to head over to my website, www.robertjamescoaching.com. And there you can leave me a message and we can arrange the free session. And now just a quick reminder of my disclaimer. Any information that you view on my website, Instagram page, Facebook group, or anywhere else online, or any information that you listen to on the podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended to be a substitute for actual medical or mental health advice from a doctor, psychologist, or any other medical or mental health professional.